Good morning, welcome to Pecan Corner. Well, the summer's over with, so it's my busy time. It's kind of started to settle down a little bit, so I can make some more fun videos here in the kitchen. Today I'm going to make ricotta cheese from store-bought milk. And I'll get to that in a minute. Before I forget, I want to say thanks to everybody that's been watching, and I really appreciate and enjoy your comments, and I appreciate the extra information that people add in the comments too. I'm just learning how to do everything that I'm doing. There's probably nothing that I'm expert on, and so I really appreciate being able to learn from other people. There are 3 people I want to give a special shout outs to, and I hope you'll go visit their channels and learn from them. One is my friend Mouse Toes, who is a marvelous canner and does great amount of food storage. And she's got a new series that she started for beginners, and it's all kinds of cooking for beginners, how to make meatloaf for beginners, and I'll put a link to her channel into one of those videos down in the description and comment section for this video. Another one is my friend Candy K, who actually lives in my area, and we know each other in person as well as on the internet. But she makes soap, and she does has been doing some great videos on how she makes her soap, and it turns out to be wonderful soap that is smooth and delightfully scented, and lasts a long time. It's just it's some of the best homemade soap I've ever had, and so I hope you'll go visit her channel. She also always has some fun little funny things that she'll put along too, so you want to enjoy that. And then the third one is TheEmptynester, who over there, her specialty in the summertime is she enjoys raising unique crops and doing things from start. She did potatoes from true potato seed this year, which is very interesting and kind of esoteric, and she does lots of seed saving and lots of experimenting with growing unusual things, and so I hope you'll go and visit her channel and see what she's got going on too. So thanks all of you. Now what I have done is, a friend of ours has a goat, and they gave me whey. They made cheese with their goat milk, and they gave me some leftover whey, and I looked up and discovered I could make ricotta cheese with it. So I did that, and that turned out so well that I tried doing it with regular whole milk, and that turns out beautifully. So today I'm doing another experiment. I found 2% milk reduced to $1 a gallon, because it's not spoiled, but the date was up yesterday, the sell-by date, and so they reduced it and so I've brought it home, and I'm going to try making ricotta with it. It's very simple to make homemade ricotta from milk. You put your milk in a pan, you heat it up to 200 degrees, you add vinegar and a little salt, and you let it sit until it cools down a bit, and then you strain it, and that's it. So what I've got is 1 gallon of 2% milk. I'm heating it to 200 degrees, and I'm going to add 2/3 of a cup of vinegar for the full gallon of milk, and I'm going to add a teaspoon and a half of kosher salt. You can adjust the salt, maybe just 1 teaspoon. You need a little salt in it. You really shouldn't leave it unsalted, because the salt really adds to the flavor. But you could, if you're on a low salt diet, you could reduce the salt. And using kosher salt, it's coarse, so it measures a little bit different than than table salt would, than regular, you know, granulated salt would. So a teaspoon and a half is probably going to be about equal to a teaspoon or to a teaspoon and a quarter of regular iodized salt. So we're going to give that a shot. I'll be back when my milk is up to temperature. The 200 degrees, well, I'll show you when I get back what it is. Okay, it's up to temp now. You want to be real careful when you're heating this that you don't let it start boiling and boil over. Oh, it would be a mess and a half if it did. I've brought it up to my temperature according to my thermometer. Now I've turned my heat off. Let me lay that down. Now I'm going to add my vinegar and my salt. I shouldn't have poured the salt over that. I should have poured the salt off over here so that I didn't spill a whole box of salt in my milk and ruin it. I know better than that, and I'm sorry to have done that on the screen. All right, now I'm going to let it, I've stirred that in, and now I'm just going to let it sit for 10 minutes and maybe even up to 20 minutes and let it cool down and let the curds build. I think you can see a little bit of the curds starting to make in here, and it should separate real well. All right, I'll be back. All right, as you can see, I think you can see my whey has separated from the, my curds have separated from the whey. So I'm going to dip this out. I'm going to move over here. Okay, I have a bowl in the sink because I want to catch my whey. Let's see if I can get this positioned right here for you. Okay. All right. I have a clean bowl in here to catch my whey in. And I'm using my jelly strainer, and we have some plain white dishcloths that we keep for only draining food on. So if Paul's going to make French fries, we have to dry them off in a part of the cooking process, and so we use these for it. And I'm going to use it for this straining the cheese, but I don't ever use it for drying dishes or any other kind of use. I'm going to line this with it, and I have found it's helpful to use some clips, some clothespins, to be sure that the weight doesn't pull it down. Now I'm going to dip instead of pouring, and since I don't think this will hold a whole gallon, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to very gently dip out the largest curds with my, whoops, there we go, with my my slotted spoon, and get them into the basket to drain. And so I'll have to do this in two parts because I don't think I'll be able to drain to get all my whey in here at the time. I looked at several different recipes to figure this out, and then there's one on Instructables. There's one, you know, everybody has them, and they're pretty much all exactly the same. Bring the milk to 200 degrees, or the whey if you're going to use leftover whey for it. Now I'm saving my whey because to me this whey, especially, I add a little bit more salt, and it tastes like buttermilk to me, which I love. But modern buttermilk is not real buttermilk, and it's got all kinds of additives and junk in it that I'm not interested in. So, this whey has been a good drinking solve for me. When I'm cooking with buttermilk, I just add some vinegar or lemon juice to whole milk, and use that in place of store-bought buttermilk. You can also buy dried powdered buttermilk, which you can use. Okay. Alright, now then, I'm going to let, there's still quite a bit in here, but I want to let that drain. You can see, I think you can see how watery it is. There's still quite a bit of curds in there. I'm trying to get all them out. But I'll eventually pour all of this through it, but at first I want to let the larger curds drain and remove them so they don't get beat up by the force of that liquid pouring over them. Okay. Now I'll just set this aside and let it cool off some more. And this can drain now for as long as you want it to. It can drain for a couple of hours, or it might take it, you know, overnight. But you can see, I think you can see here, the curds are nice and fluffy, and just very nice ricotta. Has a good flavor. I could probably have added a little more salt. I could probably have added another teaspoon of salt without harming it in any way. But this will be fine for cooking with, because that's the only way we use it. So I'll be able to add more salt at the time I'm cooking it. All right. I think I'll be back when it's finished and show you the final product. Okay, this has been the main portion has been draining for about an hour now, and I'm going to pour it first into this measuring cup just so I can see how much we have here. It looks like we have a good 2 cupfuls. Yep. And then I still have, whoops, lost a little piece of it down there. Okay. Alright, so it looks like, mash it down in there. Alright, it looks like we have just about, where'd the spoon go? There it is. Right at 2 cupfuls, and I still have a little bit. I'm going to pour the rest of the way through. But it looks like I've got at least 2 cups, maybe even 2.5 cups of ricotta out of the gallon of skim milk. So now I'm going to pour the rest through. Put my towel back in place. Put my clips on it so that it won't run over. And now I'll pour the rest through. And it's still going into the bowl, because I want to catch my way. Right. And of course I'm going to have to give my pot a good scrubbing, because I have it a little bit browned on the bottom there. There's a reason that milk has been used to make paint, to make glue, and to make plastics with. So don't ever let it boil over, because it's very hard to get off. Anyway, this will store for about 3 days in the refrigerator. It needs to be in an airtight container so that it's not going to continue drying out. If you let it drain too long and you decide it's a little too dry, you can just add some whey back into it. But I've heard that you can also freeze it, and since it's already crumbly, that should be just fine too. So there we go. This is how to make ricotta. Now, I want to clarify, in case there are any questions, the milk that I used was not spoiled. I don't think you could make this with spoiled milk, because it's going to taste spoiled. The milk was not blinky. It was still perfectly good to drink. It was simply discounted because it was past its sell-by date. So if you have milk that you know you're not going to be able to drink before it goes bad, you could use this for it. But if your milk's already gone bad, then it needs to go into animal food or making paint out of. But don't try to use spoiled milk for this, because that's not gonna be good. Anything that you won't eat in one form, you don't want to eat in any other form. So anyway, I hope that this has been fun. It's a simple, easy project, and you know, it took me what, an hour and a half to make my very own cheese, and it's healthy. We know exactly what's in it. It's got 3 ingredients, and no preservatives and no fillers and no thickeners and no junk. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And my computer right now, it overheats when I try to stream anything, so I can't watch videos yet, but I'm hoping to get a chance to get it into the shop and get it fixed pretty soon, and then I'll be back to watching your videos. All right, thanks a bunch. Take care. Bye.